Hello, my name's Sam. Welcome to my channel. So I'm just packing to go on vacation. We leave tomorrow for about 6 days, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to do like a book recommendation video specifically for good books to bring on vacation. I feel like a lot of times the most common recommendation for a book to bring on vacation is a thriller or a romance. And that makes sense because they're really quick, easy reads. They're easy to get into, they're easy to just immerse yourself in and get lost in. But this is going to be books that aren't thriller and romance. So this is other genres that I feel like also lend well to a vacation read. When I'm thinking of a book I want to read on vacation, I'm thinking of like a mindless book, like one that's just going to be fun, whereas it's either kind of funny and fast-paced or ridiculous or kind of stupid or just very light and easy. I don't usually want to bring like a 600-page book or a heavier hitting book. I just want something short and light. Something else that I feel like lends well to a vacation read is a book that you can put down. Like you're wanting to do other things on vacation as well. You don't necessarily want to have your face in a book the entire time. So these are books that you can easily like pick up and put down, and you're not like fighting yourself to put it down. I'm going to try to just give really quick synopses of these ones and not make this a super long rambling video. So the first category I have mysteries, and I know I said no thrillers, but mysteries I feel like are totally different, and they're really good stories to get into. They often have a cozy vibe, a really fun cast of characters, and they're just a fun, good time. I feel like they suit a vacation read perfectly. So the first one I have is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. So this one is really fun because it's written like direct to reader. It breaks the fourth wall a lot. In the prologue, he says like, hey, I'm a reliable narrator, I'll prove it to you. And he gives all the pages where people are killed. And then when you're reading, when you get to one of those pages, he'll say, oh, like if you're wondering if this person died, go back and check the prologue. I don't feel like this is a spoiler because all of this happens like within the first 30 pages. So it opens with Ernie's brother killing someone, and then Ernie testifies, sends him to jail. And then 3.5 years later, his brother gets out of jail and they're all meeting up for like the weirdest family reunion ever. And there'll be like different sections in here, like my stepfather, my brother, my mother. And then in that like section of the book, it details the murders that those people have committed. And it was really fun. I feel like it would be perfect for a vacation. I'm also going to try really hard at the end of every single book not to say this would be great on vacation, because that's literally the title of this video. So moving on. The next mystery I have is the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. So the first one being A Curious Beginning. So these books take place in like 1887 in London, and we're following Veronica, and she's like, I think she's like in her mid-20s. Veronica is kind of like the 1880s version of like Not Like Other Girls. She's a leopard doctoress, so she like collects and studies butterflies, and you know, she goes off on her little expeditions, and she, you know, has like romantic dalliances, and she's just not following what all of the snobby aristocrats want her to do. And one day after her aunt dies, she almost gets kidnapped, and then this baron shows up and he's like, you're not safe, I'm gonna take you to my friend Stoker. And Stoker is like this broody guy with like a dark past, and he's got like an eye patch and he's tattoos and he's really muscular, and they just lust after each other for like 9 books. It's really fun to read. I say that, but I've literally only read the first 2. So basically the Baron takes Veronica to Stoker, and then when the Baron turns up dead, Veronica and Stoker run off, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, why this guy got killed, why someone is after Veronica, and then all the books just kind of go from there. Now they've kind of got this like partnership, and it's just Veronica and Stoker running around, solving mysteries, thirsting after each other, and it's a really good time. I've only read the first 2 books in this series so far, and I have the 3rd and the 4th one, and I'm probably going to bring those on my trip, so I'm really excited for that. The next one on this list is also a mystery series, and that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. If you don't know by now, this follows 4 like 70/80-year-olds in this like retirement facility, and every Thursday they meet up and they solve cold cases, and then murders start happening at their retirement village, and of course they insert themselves into the best investigation, trying to piece together and figure out what happens. And it becomes kind of like this big cast of characters as well, and side characters. We have the 4 older people, the main ones, and then there's a couple of cops and then some other side characters, spouses, children, that kind of thing. And yeah, they're just great books. Last mystery is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q Sutanto. This one is it has a mystery element, it has a romance element, but it's mainly just a really ridiculous rat race kind of story that I think would be perfect for vacation, because I feel like it's a very quick read because it's so ridiculous, and it was absolutely hilarious. Like, it had me cackling. This one is about Madeline and her mom and her 3 aunties, and the older women in her life, they're always inserting themselves into her life, making decisions for her, telling her what to do, and they're also all in the wedding industry. So Madeline's a photographer, and the other aunties do like the cake, the hair and makeup, decorating, entertainment, all that stuff. And the day before they have this like big wedding to do, they convince Madeline to go on a blind date, and she ends up killing the guy that she went on the blind date with. And then it's just these 5 women trying to do this wedding, but also trying to get rid of this dead body, and it's absolutely hilarious. I think I just said that one was the last mystery I have on this list, but that's not true, because this next one is also a mystery, and that is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. So this one follows a mom, and one night she sees her, I think he's 18, she sees her 18-year-old son kill somebody out the window. And then the police comes, he goes to jail, she's a mess, she goes to bed, she wakes up, and it's the next day. And then she lives that day, she tries to change certain things, and then she goes to bed, she wakes up, and it's the day before that. And then it's the week before, and then it's the month before, and then it's like 5 years, 10 years, yada, yada, yada. So every day is kind of a new day further in the past, where she's slowly piecing together the things that have led to her son maybe committing this murder. And it was such a fun, different type of mystery with like the time travel element and everything. And I thought it was just a really well put together story that would be a good read for a vacation. How many times have I said that so far? Okay, next I have 2 suspense books. The first one being The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. So this one is shelved as like a thriller, I think, on Goodreads, but it felt more like a suspense. To me, it wasn't super thrilling, which isn't a bad thing. It's just the tone was more suspenseful, and it was really short, and I just think it would just be a very quick, easy read, which is, you know, a lot of things on this list. So anyways, this one is following Evelyn, and she does cloning. She dabbles in cloning, and she makes clones of herself. And one of those clones just so happens to have an affair with her husband, and then ends up killing him. And then comes to Evelyn for help, and then the 2 women work together to kind of fix their messes, basically. And that's, I think, all I need to say. It's very short, and it was very fast. The next suspense is, I think, a little bit deeper and good if you want a little bit of a longer book, one that might take you a little bit more time to read, and that is The Silent Woods by Kimi Cunningham Grant. So in this one, we're following Cooper and his 8-year-old daughter Finch, and they live an isolated life in the woods. They've pretty much lived there, I think, the daughter's whole life, and they only get visits from Cooper's friend Jake, who is supposed to come every winter to deliver them food, and one year he doesn't come. And then the only other person they see is their neighbor, who also lives in the woods, and throughout the whole book we're kind of like not sure, can we trust him or not? And it's just following Cooper and Finch as they're trying to survive in the woods, and we slowly learn kind of things from Cooper's past and why they've come to live in the woods anyways. And it's just a really good, solid, suspenseful book. And my next category is like cozy books, and I'm gonna try to be even quicker with my synopses because I feel like I'm rambling. So the first one I have is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. We're following Viv, who is, I think, an orc, whatever an orc is, like kind of like an ogre, I don't know. And she is like sick of her battle lifestyle, and she decides that she just wants to settle down in this little community and open a coffee shop and make coffee, and she hires this little mouse baker, And it's just Viv and the other people working in the coffee shop and this mouse Thimble, and they're just making coffee and croissants, and that's literally the whole book. It's just a nice, cozy, good time. Okay, next is a book that I recommend all the time because it's probably my all-time favorite book, and I can't help it that it fits with like every category, and that is Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. In this one, we're following Madison and Lillian, and they are old friends, and Lillian's kind of a mess, but Madison has her life together a little bit more. She's married to this congressman or senator or something, and she has these 2 stepchildren that just so happen to spontaneously combust. So she goes to Lillian, and she basically asks her to kind of be like a makeshift nanny for these kids. And it just turns into this funny, heartwarming story of found family, and it's just light and honestly perfect in every single way. This next one is good for vacation because it takes place on vacation, and that is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serle. Serle. So this one follows Katie, and her mom have planned on doing this trip to Italy, a trip that her mom did when she was Katie's age. But then her mom dies, and Katie decides to go on the trip by herself. And while she's on this trip, she sees that version of her mother in Italy and ends up spending this trip with that version of her mom. This is a book about grief and a mother-daughter relationship, and it has a little romance side plot, and it was just a good, solid book. It didn't do anything totally like groundbreaking for me, but I just still remember overall having a really good time reading it. Okay, this next one is honestly just kind of stupid, and that is Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. This one is told entirely in Slack messages from this like office job, and basically one of the guys gets his consciousness like trapped in Slack, and it's just him trying to get out of the Slack messenger, and then it follows like all of like the little conversations of like everyone else in the office on Slack, and him just being like, somebody please help me get out of this message, and they're all like, oh, are you like pulling a prank on us? And it was just stupid, but it was funny, and it is told entirely in these messages, and honestly I feel like it would take you like an hour to read. Okay, next I have 2 translated works. The first one being The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa, translated by Philip Gabriel. So in this one we're following Nana the cat and the cat's owner, and they're basically going on this road trip, and they're meeting different people from the owner's life. What is his name? Satoru is the cat owner's name. We're meeting different people from Satoru's life, and he's basically trying to find a new home for this cat. And in doing so, we meet the people in his life, and then it goes back to, you know, kind of stories from how they know each other and like his childhood, his past. And it was just a really nice, like simple story, and we're in the cat's head. The cat is quite funny, and yeah, this is another one that is quite short and would take no time to get through. It's just a nice simple story. Okay, next we have Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, translated by Geoffrey Trousselot. So in this one we're following this cafe and the people in this cafe, and you can time travel there, but only from this one spot and only from inside the cafe. So you can't leave the cafe, you can only see people inside the cafe, and it doesn't change the future in any way. And you have to finish your coffee before it gets cold or you will be stuck there. And this one kind of felt like a short story collection. Like we just are following, I think in the first one it's like 4 different storylines of people coming into this cafe to do their little time travel thing. And yeah, just another quick one. Speaking of short story collections, I feel like that would be another good thing to bring on vacation, because like each day you could kind of have like a short story for each day if you only want to read like a little bit every day. And then it could kind of be like one and done. Like you read your story and then you can go off and, you know, do your little vacay thing. So one I would recommend for that, and this is very like niche, like if you like kind of weird stuff, and that is Out There by Kate Folk. And this is mainly because I'm just really looking for more people to read The Bone Ward, because that story messed me up. So if you like short story collections and you like kind of like weird sci-fi speculative stuff and you just kind of want to have one good story for like each day of your vacation, that's your go-to. Something else along those lines would be an essay collection. So my suggestion for this one would be The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. And this one was really fun because it's a book of reviews of random things. So John Green picked like a random topic like Canadian geese, which if you live in Canada, you know that they're literally the worst animal. And he just wrote a little review about it. He wrote a little essay review, and he did that same thing with songs, strep throat, meningitis, random stuff like that. And that one was great too because I got to learn some interesting facts about certain things and it was funny. And again, just like the short story collections, you could read one little essay or a couple different essays because I think they were quite short, and then go on with your day. Okay, next I have nonfiction. If you are a nonfiction reader, and these ones were good because again, I got to learn about this certain topic from someone who is passionate about these topics. The first one being Cultish by Amanda Montell. So this one is all about the language of cults, the language that kind of hooks people in and draws people in. And it had a lot of interesting facts about lots of cults, and it was just a very interesting read. So if you're someone that, you know, you're not a huge fiction reader, but you like to learn something and actually feel like you're getting something tangible out of a book, this would be my recommendation for that. Okay, last one in this category and last one for this video is How Far the Light Reaches, A Life in 10 Sea Creatures by Sabrina Imbler. And this one is exactly what the title sounds like. It's a good mix of you're getting like a memoir, but you're also getting interesting facts about sea creatures, and you're getting to learn about these animals that are like in like trenches of the ocean. That's the professional term. Yeah, you get to learn about these animals that are like deep in the ocean. And the author connects like the interesting facts about them and like aspects of like their life and human life in general. And it was a really fun read because it was beautifully written, and you know, I got that memoir aspect, but you also get to learn something from someone who is passionate about that topic. All right, those are all of the ones that I have for vacation book recommendations. If you are going somewhere soon, I hope you have a good time. And if you're not, I hope that you will be soon. Okay, thank you for watching. If you did, see you when I see you. Goodbye.